Namaste and welcome to the 73rd episode of TeaTalk. This is your host Dr.Shilu. Today I have an amazing guest who is not even 30 and who is in the final year of Ph.D. Yes, he has completed his bachelor's from the University of Texas Arlington in mm, uh, physics and mathematics, and currently he is in the University of Illinois, where he is pursuing his final year. After his PhD, he's planning to be continue in academia or continue working as a research scientist. So let's welcome this amazing young man who is soon to be a doctor, uh, Darshan Chalise. Hello, Darshan. Welcome to this Tea Talk.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, I've been watching your episodes and I've been liking it. So thank you for inviting me.
It's my honor. And I was telling in the introduction that you are that uh, someone so special who is getting his PhD before he's 30. How cool is that? So I'm so very proud of you. And yeah, it's my
Thank you
honor
so
to
much.
welcome you today.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah, so please tell us about yourself. I mean, yeah, what in if I have to explain you in one single line, that is someone PhD before 30, that itself explains a lot. But tell us about yourself, where you are, what you are doing, and what's your area.
So basically, I mean, currently I'm doing a PhD in physics, but that's not really a conventional physics looking at black holes or things like that. It's more applied physics. So I'm looking at things that can be used in engineering. So it's really in between engineering and physics. So that's what I'm currently studying. And in my undergraduate, I studied more pure physics, mathematics. But right now, I moved to more real world things. So the real world physics rather than what I was initially interested in when I started my PhD.
Right, right. And thank you for explaining that. Otherwise, for someone like me who doesn't have that STEM background or, I mean, doesn't have much understanding of physics, and it is like black hole kind of, right?
Yeah.
So thank you. Yeah, that makes sense. So tell me, what are some of the choices that you made? Because you are pretty young, and when lots of the people of your generation, of your age, are still in like a bachelor's or master's or work, and you are almost ready to complete your PhD. So tell us about some of the choices and the journey to bring Darshan to this day.
Yeah. In terms of choices, I think I had more straightforward choices, and maybe that's why I'm like almost on track of completing my PhD soon. So yeah, ever since childhood, I guess me and my twin were always interested in science, and we used to do science experiments and yeah, got involved in science club, and also that was a natural inclination to do science. And then when I had to make a choice to either study in Nepal or come
Right.
to US or somewhere else, yeah, over there also the choice was straightforward because I wanted to do research, and unfortunately in Nepal there isn't much research opportunities, especially if you are just starting as an undergraduate student.
Right.
So it was almost straightforward that I had to come to US and then apply to a lot of schools, but only managed to get good scholarships in a couple of schools and selected the one where I thought that I could advance my career in, and then did my undergraduate there in pure physics. And after that, I got selected into a pretty decently good physics program for my PhD, and then I chose that. And then after I started that, I was initially inclined in doing the pure physics,
Right.
the more abstract physics, which you see in National Geographic or wherever.
Right. Right.
But later, I found it to be too abstract, not something that I was really enjoying. Because as a child, I liked science because it was very hands-on and we could test things and we could do things. But physics at a very higher level gets very abstract. So I moved slightly away from it. But right now I'm still doing physics, but it's something that's more applied to people in industry or medicine and those sort of things.
That's great. Yeah. And it's amazing, like how you are explaining that right from the childhood. I mean, you were interested in in science and in your brother as well, right? So it was kind of like a
Yeah,
straightforward path you said. But for us, for someone from non-scientific background or any other background, it is like I cannot even imagine, I cannot even understand much, right? But one thing I must applaud is the directness, the focus, and the because many people struggle even to get the school with full pay and whatnot. But you said that couple scholarships, right? Whatever
yeah,
paid kids. So those are some of the choices and that comes from your hard work, dedication, and whatnot. So again, I don't have like words to express how proud I am, not
thank you
only
so much.
for you, but you representing the young generation, right? So much dedicated and whatnot. So tell me, what are some of the uh, hard work you are making now at this period coming to the final level of PhD? Because I can imagine that PhD school itself is kind of like hard, monotonous too, in a sense, if
Yeah,
you not enjoy it, right? So
yeah,
what
yeah.
does normal day look like how you start your day and coming to this point?
So it's funny that you mentioned that it's not, it's not, it's very monotonous if you are not enjoying it.
Exactly.
Fortunately for me, I'm enjoying it, so it's not so monotonous. Every day is a different set of challenges, and you try to think through the problems to solve and all. So I mean, for me, yeah, I guess if you are an outsider, my daily schedule looks pretty monotonous. Wake up early, run to my lab, and then so maybe 8 a.m. I'm in my lab, and then at 12 I eat lunch, get back to work again, and then I work till 8 p.m. So typically 12 hours a day, and then I call my parents, I call my brother. So uh, those are the places I go to when I need to de-stress and not think about work. But after that, I come back home, sleep again, and start the day. So it's pretty monotonous, but overall, like every day there is a new challenge, a lot of things to learn, and those are the exciting things. But as an outsider, I guess it does look pretty monotonous.
Definitely, definitely. And again, I mean, PhD itself is a isolated journey, but the one who is
Yeah,
doing it, it is the world to
yeah,
him.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I do completely understand that path and that dedication. So, but in this platform, we talk about family as well as career. And as you mentioned that at the end of the day, I mean, you call your parents, you call your brother, you reach out to your family and whatnot, right? That kind of like recharges you again. So what,
yeah,
like, who are the inspiration or like who is it from the parents or are there any teachers or like usually it's the general expectation of brown parents as people say that like
yeah.
their kids are in the science like doctors, engineers, lawyers, and that should be a matter of being proud, right? So your parents must be very proud, I can see that. But how did you make the choice? Was it because of your interest or was it because of the family influence?
Uh, so in terms of family, one thing that I was very lucky about is that my parents were always supportive uh, for me and my brother to do science. And I mean, a lot of parents expect you to start earning pretty early. And
Right.
fortunately, in my case, that was not true. And parents were supportive and they trusted ever since finishing high school or even making choice of which high school to go to. They were supportive in the sense that they knew that I knew what was best for me. So, so it was a positive reinforcement and not something that was forced upon.
Right.
So that was something that helped me enjoy science or enjoy doing what I'm doing right now. Of course, like even right now, my parents are very supportive. Like if I'm in a group call with my brother and we both keep on talking about science because we love talking about it. But then my parents never say stop talking or something like you are boring me. They never say that. They try to listen to it and
It's
they
right.
try to
I love
encourage us.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's something that I'm very thankful to my parents about, like, always supportive. And I'm sure that sometimes me and my brother would bore them out, but they keep on supporting us. That's something that I'm very thankful for.
Yeah, of course, of course. And that's really a great thing because, and if your parents or the family are not from the same background, I mean, the subject itself becomes like alien, right? Even for me, I
Yeah,
mean, I did my PhD, but not coming from the same background. PhD, I
yeah,
mean, when you explain physics, that is, oh, okay. And I'm like trying to listen, trying to know, but I don't know. I mean, I have my limitation as well. But again, let's go back to a little bit about family time and the refreshment.
okay.
The like young people of your age, right? Many, as you mentioned, that they are more into like earning or partying and like hanging out with friends and whatnot, right? But you are so focused, and that's the reason you are almost ready to be a doctor soon, PhD doctor, right? Still soon. But how about girls? They must be after you because you are very handsome, right? Finishing your degree soon and everything. So how are you thinking of like, ideal girl for you, or if there is not any? And this is just out of the
Well, academia probably is not the most attractive field, right? In order to attract someone of the other gender. So right now I'm just focused on studies.
sure.
I'll see what happens when. Of course, like there's so much to look forward to right now in terms of academics. Like you
Yes,
know that the faculty position is very competitive.
of
So
course, of course.
so of course I'm right now I'm more focused on that. But let's see what happens later.
Sure, yeah. Thank you for answering that. And again, like most people, they finish when they are late 30s or 40s, and you are not even, you are in your 20s. So you have the whole like horizon open for you. So yeah, I can see that. So tell us about some of your hobbies. If not the uh, scientist, I would say, what are some things that interest you?
So I mean, one of the things that I'm very dedicated to, I'd say I'm dedicated 80% to science and 20% to table tennis right
Okay,
now. So that's something that I play or train very seriously at, and that's something that I can always go back to when I'm stressed out and wanting to think of something else. But yeah. So table tennis is something that I play seriously. I try to train, but as a PhD student, it's not so easy to find time to train. But I still manage to play around 4 to 5 hours a week.
4 to 5 hours. You must be very disciplined. And as you mentioned, that 80/20, right? Finding that
Yeah.
kind of like a stress releaser too, right? And yeah, so have you been playing since your school days, or is it something that
Uh,
you did?
no, so it was something that I used to play in school because in Nepal there are always tables in every school, but then didn't really used to play with the proper technique and all. But after I came to US, started practicing with my brother, and then a year or two later, some of the better, well-trained players started playing in my university, and I learned from them. And after I learned from them, like it was a really fun sport, and then kept on learning more. And as with a lot of things in life, if you learn something more, it gets more interesting.
Of course, of course.
So even table tennis was like that. So right now, yeah, I'm pretty serious about it, and I enjoy playing a lot. But of course, that's not primary though. Primary is academia, so that's what I'm focused on.
No,
But I do enjoy.
but still that is pretty impressive, like finding time to play that, and not only like a just playing for fun, but getting time to find the better peers, like who have already done better and bettering yourself, right? And that's
Yeah.
really impressive. Okay, and tell me, because many times, quite like few times, you mentioned that there are differences from Nepal and here. Either it is the sports or classrooms or the higher education, right? So, share some of the difference of the classroom in Nepal versus classroom in Texas or Illinois, where you are.
Yeah. Yes. So it's not. Yeah, that's one of the things that's actually not that easy to find a real difference about. Of course, like I guess it depends on individuals. Some of them, some people might have good experiences in Nepal. Some might have good experiences in US. It depends on what type of learner you are and what type of opportunities you get. It's even difficult to generalize US because in US you might have institutes that are uh, let's say for profit and
Yeah,
don't really focus on education, while there are some which are regarded as one of the best in the world. So it varies a lot, and even in Nepal that's the case. Some of the institutes do not manage to get good teachers, while some of them do have really good teachers. But in general, I guess uh, the good thing about US is, and the unfortunate thing about Nepal is the amount of resources that's available. And let's say for me as an academic, I do experimental science, so I do not do theoretical science. And
right.
experimental science happens to be very expensive.
Sure.
If you want to do good science, it costs a lot of money, unfortunately. And that's where US, even compared to countries like Europe or China or other countries in Asia, still are behind US in experimental science because of the fact that there is more money for research over here. But in general, I feel it really depends on individual and their choices. Like for example, when I did my high schooling in Nepal, I felt like I learned a lot in high school, and probably if I had to do the same in US, I'd probably have to go to a private high school in US, and that would have cost a fortune. And so there are some aspects of Nepalese education that are good, and some aspects of education over here. I guess in terms of the overall pressure of education, I think there's more pressure in Nepal. It's more relaxed over here, and I really enjoyed that during my undergraduate days, where I didn't have to complete 300 questions for my homework,
Yeah.
and then that was fun. I didn't have to memorize a lot. I could enjoy the process of learning during my undergraduate year. So I guess that's that's one cultural difference in education that I see. Maybe Nepal is moving to a better culture because there have been foreign influences and it's a learning process, and every country as it opens up, it will learn good things from other cultures and then take in. So hopefully Nepal is moving in the right direction.
Of course, what a wonderful answer you gave to us. What are your plans like after, I mean, you are in the final year, right? So what are some of the areas that you are going to do after completing? So can you please tell us?
Yeah, so that's again one of the more straightforward things in my life. I guess it's very uneventful, but in general, after my PhD, I want to again remain in academia, so I'll have to apply for postdoctorate positions.
Right.
Uh, so that will be maybe for 2 years or 3 years until I get a faculty position or assistant professor position. I think that's going to be very difficult. So I can't really tell right now if I'm definitely going to be a assistant professor at a university because that's very competitive. But the the obvious goal right now, the short term goal is to find a good postdoctorate positions.
Sure. And with your dedication and all those years of accomplishment, I'm sure that you will get it for sure. Thank you for sharing that. So, what would be your message to the young generation, like completing their bachelor's or students who want to come US as well, as much the students here want to pursue the path that you are following? So, what are some of your messages to them?
Um, kind of difficult to give a message because it's so specific to individuals, and some individuals need one type of message and some need the other. So I can't really think of a good message, but I guess one message is related to a question that you asked, like what do you do for free for fun or free time. I think that's important, even if you are focused in something, and I guess someone needs to be focused in a particular thing. I guess it is a good thing to choose a sports or choose a hobby and do it. I guess in Nepal, unfortunately, a lot of parents don't like the fact that a kid gets involved in a sports or plays music. But I guess that's important. And if someone is listening who is young, I guess they can at least be proud of the fact that they are playing a sport or playing some music, and also try to convince their parents that that's not necessarily a bad thing. In fact, I think it's a good thing that someone does that, so that you can gain multiple types of skills, and also you have something as a stress reliever.
What a powerful message. I love it. Yes. And like through this, you are not giving the message to those who are already playing or want to play, right? Because unlike US in Nepal, I can see that. I mean, if their children kind of choose to play, or so parents discourage, okay, my kid is going to be a sport. I mean, they cannot imagine.
Yeah.
I can see that. And someone who is already passionate in sports and who can give the better message than you are here, right? So thank you for sharing that. So what would be your message to parents generation regarding the choices of career to their students? I mean, yes, in sports, that's a great one, but regarding the career path, like what would be your
Um, yeah, I don't know if I can give parents any advice if they are already older than me and more experienced. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know if my message would work, but I'd always, like I said, my parents were confident in me and supportive of me of my choices. I guess that's the healthiest way to go in a parent-child relationship, to trust your children's decision, at least after the point that they are adults. Uh, because after they are 18 or 19, I'm pretty sure they are mature enough to think for themselves. And if parents can be supportive of their children, I think that's going to foster a good relationship, but also will help their children be more focused on doing something that they love.
for sure? Yes, trusting their own children, right? Yeah, and yeah, respecting their decision. That's great. Yeah, thank you. So if there would be a, again, like I talked about, I asked about choice all the time, but probably this is not the choice. If there is one thing you wanted to do, if like time and money were not the issue, any like future plan, a vision, a dream with your open eyes, if there is anything like that.
Um, I'm not too sure because that's something that what I'm doing right now is something that I really enjoy. So I'd absolutely not be doing something else as a profession. This is what I'm doing right now is something that I enjoy 100%. But in general, maybe I'd like to find some more time to travel, because as you get into these academic positions and all, there are not many opportunities to take vacations and all. And I guess if time and money was not an issue, I guess I'd travel more. Yeah.
Of course, travel, right? Yeah, great. And one thing, like, I don't know, I'm just curious. This question is not coming from me as a host of this program right now, but I'm kind of representing many young, like teenagers or the high schoolers who have kind of said that going to a higher education in young age is kind of like expectation of like the brown parents and expectation all brown parents have from their children. So I always hear from the kids in Nepalese community or our South Asian community. So tell us, what is the diversity rate in your program, PhD program in the university that you are in?
Um, I guess when it really goes to graduate school in US, it's 50% international students and 50% American students. So I think that a PhD program is slightly different from undergraduate program. I guess unfortunately in US there are uh, predominantly more people from Asian communities and not so much from other communities when it comes to um, undergraduate education. And I guess that's also true for graduate education. But I guess US, for being a country with not such a large population, I think it's doing fine. And then the diversity is there. I guess I don't think it's just Asian population. There are people from all sort of backgrounds, and that's something that's beautiful. Um, at least in my university. Yes, but of course, the overall academic environment is that there are a lot of people from Asian origin. I guess that's cultural. I don't know if that's a fortunate thing or an unfortunate thing.
Yeah,
But yeah, in Illinois, we have people from all different backgrounds, and that's something that makes it beautiful.
of course, of course. Yeah, that's the place I haven't visited yet, but maybe I mean soon in future I will.
Yes, you should. It's a beautiful campus.
Yeah,
You should visit.
I would love to. And you have been in Texas, and what are the
Yes.
difference? What thing of Texas do you miss other than like Texas? Everything is big in Texas, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah, what is one thing that you miss from Texas?
I really enjoy. Yeah. So right now I'm living in a uh, basically something that's not a city. So I'm
Okay.
living in a more of a suburban setting, and I guess in terms of the choices you have for restaurants or food, that's not. It's kind of limited. But in Texas, I was living in the Dallas area. And it's a very multicultural place with lots of different food, and I guess I like the warmth rather than the cold in Illinois. So so in terms
Okay.
of weather, in terms of food, Texas was better, I guess.
Yeah. So, what's the weather like? I mean, we are having like 90s, like 80s. How is the weather there?
Yeah. So in Illinois, right now it's very good because it's summer.
Yes.
But in winter, it gets really cold. At one point, it even reached negative 40 degrees Celsius.
Wow.
Mm.
Okay.
So yeah, sometimes it gets really cold. I guess this winter was not that bad, but it was a really long winter. Even till May, we are having snow. So
Wow.
so yeah, for someone who doesn't really enjoy winter, this winter was not so fun for me.
Okay, okay. How often do you travel home and what thing of home like because you mentioned food, right? Food always connects
Yeah,
families and memories and whatnot. So what do you miss of home when you are
uh,
dedicating your time in the as a PhD student
yeah. So home is obviously something that I'm very close to, and I try to travel every year.
every
But
year?
yeah, because of COVID, I was not able to travel last year, so I made up for it this Dosai, and I traveled and met my parents and my grandmom and everyone else. And it's obviously a beautiful thing to go back home because you find a safe space there, right? You are not alone. You feel like supported. And over here, I feel like, yeah, I mean, I have to make sure that I take care of myself because I'm living alone. And yeah, that's something that I miss, of course, the safe space feeling at home. But of course, like the fortunate thing right now is we can always talk using video calls or phone calls, and that's something that I always do. I always talk to my parents and find a time once a week to do a video call. So that's keeping me connected.
That's wonderful, and yeah, and many times. I mean, I also like to thank the technology for connecting like families, right? And we can see and talk every day, and that is the main part as well. So probably, I mean, we are almost getting the end of the talk as well. But tell us one thing that how you, I mean, when we talk about like our not only physical health, but mental health, emotional health, everything comes right because many times, I mean, the college students or the youngsters, they are seeing that very much stressed, or anxiety rate is so high when you look at the data at research and whatnot. So how do you, what do you do to keep yourself balanced or focused? Uh, what helps you? Now, you mentioned the sports, and that is one of the main
Yeah.
things, right? So other than that, any other thing that you'd like to do?
Uh, yeah, I don't do anything particular. I mean, of course, like I'm very lucky because I have a very supportive family, very supportive relatives, and everyone. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't necessarily have that. That's on. But yeah, I think sports helps a lot, and making friends, having people close to you who you can trust and share things and all. I think that's um, that's something that would help someone with mental health, I mean, remaining mentally healthy, and of course, trying to do things that you like or enjoy, and taking a break once in a while, and everything. Those sort of things are some things that I try to do to remain mentally healthy, enjoying life.
Thank you so much. And I do understand, and I really appreciate the way you mention it, because as someone coming from the family science background and seeing like how the family makes you grounded, not only grounded, but like feels you, I don't know, like inspire you on your everyday role, but at the same time, I
Yeah,
mean, makes you connected and to move ahead, right? So, and
yeah,
seeing the young generation connected to family in that way, uh, that really adds I don't know, smile on my face, I would say. So thank you for all the messages that you have shared and your educational journey, and I would wish you a very best for your uh, future. I mean, I'm sure that, I mean, you have a lot to do, but again, seeing your dedication and whatnot, I'm sure you'll reach there. So any final word for our audience who are watching you or listening to us before we.
I don't have anything particular, but in general, I wanted to say that you are doing a pretty wonderful job with this podcast. I think that you are doing a hundred podcast series, but I'd love you to continue on. I think this is a wonderful thing that you are doing.
Thank you so very much. That's really sweet of you to say that. And yeah, again, I mean, uh, it's the platform is created so that the stories would be shared to many people out there, right? And your presence in this platform itself is, it's my honor as well. So you
Thank
are
you so much.
inspiring many people of your generation, not only your generation, for parents' generation, teachers' generation as well, right? So thank you for doing that, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much. It was fun talking to you.
Right. Bye.
Bye.